What's up, everybody? My name is Post-Production Pi, Editor-in-Chief for srlounge.com. Welcome to another installment of our weekly Ordinary to Extraordinary Raw Edit featuring the Lightroom preset system V5. Now, as always, we're going to be demonstrating first how to create our effect with the preset system, and then afterwards we'll be going through details of the actual develop settings just to help everyone understand what's going on and what's going into each look and effect. Now, this way, everyone that has the presets or doesn't have the presets, well, all of you can benefit from watching this tutorial. If you don't have the presets and you are interested in learning more, then be sure to check out the link below in the description to take you to the SR Lounge store where you can check out all of the details. All right, so that's it for me. I'm going to get started now. In the last video, we kind of created this color filmic grunge effect. In this one, we're going to go with a black and white grunge for, again, these types of street portraits. This grunge look works really well for this journalistic street portrait kind of vibe, and that's why it's really popular, actually. So we're going to show you how to do a black and white version of that here. Let's take a look real quick. We're going to hit I just to see how this image was shot. It was on a Canon 5D Mark II. We're on a 7200mm lens at f2.8. We're shooting at 1/80th of a second at f3.5, ISO 100. Now, I probably should have raised this to a little bit higher than 1/80th of a second, but the monk really isn't moving very quickly, and I probably was trying to maximize my dynamic range at 100, so I left it where it's at. And you can see that over in the histogram, we have a lot of dynamic range here in this image available to us. So let's get started here. We're going to go over to our base vivid, and we were using the DSAT in the last tutorial, which again, they're going to look great on this type of image as well. But this go around, we're going to use the black and white. So we're going to start with one of the grunges. Again, I like to cycle between the two to see if I like it with high contrast or extra high contrast. And I think for this one, I like it with extra high contrast as well. So I'm going to keep that. Now, we're not going to make any adjustments to curves because we don't want to create a fade or anything like that yet. What I am going to do is make an adjustment to my vignetting. So let's pop open our vignetting and let's check this out. I'm going to go from light to maybe medium to heavy and see what I like best. Now, I'm actually going to probably stick with a medium vignette for this image just to kind of pull in our focus right to our monk here. Last thing I'm going to do, and the final click, is just going to be this grain. And I already know from this image that I want heavy film grain, so I'm going to leave it on max film grain. It's looking awesome right there, and I'm actually really happy with the way this looks. If you want to add anything else creatively, it's really up to you, but that's kind of it. We've created our filmic grunge preset. If you want to save this as a filmic black and white mixology, go for it. I'm not going to save it because it's really only 2 clicks away from that base preset which got us there, so I'm not going to worry about saving now. Let's check out the before and the after of this image. So here is the before, here is our after. 3 clicks and we get to this nice black and white look for this image. If we want, we can adjust our exposure to wherever we want. I'm just going to leave it where it's at. So again, with our effects, we switch this over to black and white, or I'm sorry, with our develop settings, we switch this over to black and white. We have our HDR effects of adjusting up contrast, pulling down highlights and whites, but to get a little bit extra crush, we're dropping shadows and blacks from plus 50 on each to 15 and 30 instead. So that gives us a little more black contrast. In clarity, we're raising mid-tone clarity to plus 60. Once again, this adds a lot of that extra grit. If we flatten this out to 0, look at how much we lose in kind of that gritty street portrait vibe. Okay, so I'm going to undo that. Again, we're not processing to make things look correct. We're processing for the emotion and for the feel of an image. That's the way you always should process your images. Okay, being correct is if, you're processing to be correct if that's what fits. All right, so going on the tone curve, we have a standard subtle contrast boosting S curve. Again, we have our 5-point curve there. We don't have any black and white adjustments in the black and white mix here because it's just all pretty much standard. All right, we haven't added any split toning. If we wanted to, we could, but I want to keep it kind of more on this silver look. If we wanted to see what it looks like, maybe with more of that azure toning, we could do that. We can go up to our curves, to the antique black and white, and we can choose, say, we're in the punches right now, right? So if we look at our curve, this is a punch curve. So if I choose basically a neutral punch, any of these neutral punches are just going to change up the overall toning in the image. So if you like the blue toning versus the bronze versus the amber, feel free to choose whatever. Personally, for this image, I like just the standard, black and white toning. I think it looks great. All right, we don't have any split toning added to this. We have our standard sharpening amount. Again, we already have gone through that. With lens vignetting, we have it at -60 with our midpoint at 25, so we're pulling that midpoint in quite a bit. We're also darkening the edges quite a bit as well to bring in that focus. With grain, again, we have that max grain setting of 90-30-30 for size and roughness. And that's it for this image. It's very simple. We got there very quickly, and it's a great overall look. So hitting backslash, we can see that before and after. A really awesome vibe with this kind of grungy, gritty street portrait, black and white. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next video.